Thanks to a 3-day weekend, I managed to pull in a lot of game time for a change. I don't always have time to play video games, but 10 of this weekend's hours belong to Civilization 5. I don't know what it is about Civilization 5 that pulls me in and refuses to let me go until early in the morning, but I started a couple of games and I have yet to actually finish them. After about 500 turns in each save, it finally hit me. I suck at video games. Not really a huge revelation, and probably an issue that most gamers deal with, but as it turns out, I'm not so great at video games. Sure, I've been known to get the top seat in a Battlefield match every once in a while, and I've won more than my fair share of races in Grand Theft Auto 5, but I spent 10 hours this weekend sucking at one game, and the worst part is I was actually playing on normal. I play on Warlord and Prince difficulty, which are 3rd and 4th on a list of 8. My point is, I'm bad at a game that isn't even supposed to be difficult, but that's okay because I love Civilization 5. There's something zen about sitting down for an abnormally long amount of time and conquering a couple of civilizations while listening to 90s rap on Pandora. And even though I have to bump the game down a notch to have any success, I'm cool with it because it makes the game fun to play. So I had come to that realization, and it made me stop and think why I didn't lower the difficulty on other games that I didn't enjoy as much. While most games aren't as difficult as they used to be, sometimes I hit a spot in a game where I get so annoyed I just don't want to deal with it anymore. In other cases, I just didn't feel like engaging the combat as much and I just wanted to focus on the story. Both of those situations caused me to take the game out and sometimes never put them back in. Maybe if I would utilized a little less gamer pride and lowered the difficulty for a bit, I would have had a little bit more of an enjoyable experience and I'd have beaten the game instead of tossing it to the wind. One game that caters to these scenarios is Mass Effect 3. It has a casual difficulty for inexperienced gamers and a narrative difficulty level that basically makes the combat a non-issue so that you can just follow the story. While I didn't have any particular issues with the combat in Mass Effect 3 on normal, if I were going to play it solely for the story, then the narrative difficulty level is an awesome option. The fact that it exists makes the chances of me replaying the game way more likely. When the option to play on narrative difficulty was unveiled, a lot of gamers put their 2 cents in and let people know that it was a mode for pussies. A pretty douchey thing to say about a game that gives you the option to have as challenging of combat as you want, especially considering that without combat, the Mass Effect franchise is basically a Telltale game, and there aren't that many people begging for combat in those. With that in mind, sometimes my choices to play games aren't always decided by the difficulty, but I'm actually uninterested in the combat. One of the reasons I'm not great at shooters anymore is because I rarely feel like playing them. And when I do get the itch to play, I end up sucking because I don't ever practice. It's a never-ending cycle of sucking. I played a bit of Saints Row the Third again this weekend because it was free on Xbox Live, but I mainly focus on the insurance fraud minigames because of my lack of interest in actually shooting stuff. So I suck at video games because I don't feel like playing them, and I don't feel like playing them because I suck at video games. I'm gonna need some therapy after this. I shouldn't feel guilty about playing games incorrectly, but sometimes I do. Video games are just a digital playground and we should be able to play in them however we want. Even though I just played the Saints Row minigames, I shouldn't feel like it invalidated my experience in the game. I guess at the end of the day, I just have to suck it up and deal with it on my own, because I can't afford therapy. But lately I've been owning up to my gaming deficiency with different playstyles and trying out different things to make it more fun for me. And I gotta say, it's a lot more rewarding than always playing the game the way you're supposed to. But I guess what it comes down to is everyone plays games differently. I play Civ 5 on baby mode and I always resort to world domination because that's just how I like to play. Maybe I'll just slap my friends around in Grand Theft Auto 5 for a half hour instead of playing Deathmatch because that just sounds like way more fun. Don't let the fact that the difficulty is supposed to be on normal hinder your experience. Swallow your pride and play the way you want, and get some enjoyment out of this dumb, expensive hobby of ours. Sure, your 12-year-old cousin might make fun of you because you can't 360 no-scope headshot in Call of Duty, but it shouldn't matter as long as you're having fun. Life is frustrating enough on its own, so don't let your hobby bully you. I've been Mike Feyrer. See you next time.